Scottish, right? With the
Yes,
Mc.
yes, it is.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Pretty interesting. Do you know any of
yeah.
your family from Scotland? If you
It's
do have.
actually my mom has Scottish heritage. It's actually where my stage name comes from, part of it. So Gia is the last three letters of my name, and then
Yeah.
McKay is from McKinnon, and my middle name's Michaela. So it was kind of a little shortening and
Ah,
a little ode to my Scottish heritage. So I really wanted to have kind of a separate identity to my personal life when entering the music world,
yeah.
and but at the same time, I wanted it to feel like it was mine. Like when someone said the name, I wanted to feel like they were talking to me. It wasn't completely unrelated. So that's yeah.
It's very beautiful. What people may not know is that you are obviously like a medical student or medicine, and yeah, it seems quite taxing. I actually saw a post of yours the other day where you were saying it's nothing like Grey's Anatomy, and it resonated with me because I'm doing law, and for me, it's like law isn't like Suits. It's just way more hectic than that stuff. How's it being though? Like being a medicine student, how are you finding it?
It's you know what it's been a dream since I was 13. So I'm super grateful to be able to pursue it. Um, I think music and medicine really are two of my biggest passions. And I in my first degree, which I graduated last year from my first degree, medicine is my second degree. I was able to continue with the music all throughout that as well. And it's been so helpful through the process because I think when you're in a very scientific space, but you are still a creative person, it's really nice to have those outlets. So it's been great. It's really difficult. It is tough. Early mornings, late nights, but I'm having fun. So yeah.
What would you say are some of the most challenging aspects of being an artist in Cape Town?
It's a good question. I think being an independent artist, there's always challenges sometimes when it comes to exposure, when it comes to support. You work really really hard, and especially when you're starting out, you're a no name brand, you're new to the industry. I think for me as well, I music had never been on my horizon. I wasn't something, it's always been a part of my life, but wasn't something I was thinking of doing professionally. And then you kind of just stumble into it. You have no idea what you're doing. You're learning on the go. Um, Fortunately though, I must say it hasn't been a bad experience. I've been met with incredible artists and incredible support and amazing people. It's daunting, but I do think that the music industry in Cape Town is more vibey and bustling than people might assume. But being an
Hmm.
independent artist, for all the independent artists out there, I think they know that if you don't have that financial backing, that if you don't have that, a lot of independent artists are working full time as well as supporting their musical dreams, and that is challenging.
What do you enjoy most about, being an artist that side in Cape Town? Because I almost feel like just the perception that I have of Cape Town, it's sort of like the best
Mm.
of Durban and Joburg with the way that it is. I mean, you got the beach that side, and there's a lot of
Mm.
creatives as well. But also, I feel like artists in Cape Town are better positioned to make it than they are here in Durban in a way. So, what are the vibes there? Like, what are some of the positives that you've picked up in Cape Town?
I think the drive for South African musicians, I think that's
Mm.
really amazing. I think also we have a really great hub of some really invested and interested radio stations. So KFM, it just is so great and supports local musicians. Not to say that other radio stations don't, but they're really big, which really helps with exposure when you're a new musician. Um, I
Yeah.
think the beautiful venues, I think, is really great because you have beautiful spots to showcase your music. The House of Machines does every Tuesday night a songwriter showcase, which is really great. Gigi's Rooftop in the center of Cape Town also does a really great songwriter showcase. So there are these really great opportunities. I would say though, I was at one point signed with a record label in Joburg, and Joburg really has the infrastructure for music. I don't personally know enough about Durban to be able to comment on that, but Joburg really is great. I do find that being a musician in Joburg is maybe a little bit easier than Cape Town in some ways.
Let's talk a bit about that. You being signed, obviously, David Gresham Records. It's a very interesting dynamic given, the times that we are in. You found in recent times that people will sort of villainize being signed to a label,
Yes.
and having that whole independent thing, being the thing that's sort of like at the forefront of most artists and so on. So for you, career wise, do you feel like you were better positioned while you were signed under the label, or do you feel like you've achieved more as an independent artist?
I think I'm really grateful I tried it. I think I'm really grateful. I'm still signed with them to
Okay.
do with publishing stuff, but
Yeah.
not as an artist. Um, and I'm really grateful I tried. I think it's an amazing opportunity. I do think you have to be careful. I do think you have to have a good support structure and to do your research and to know what you're getting yourself into beforehand. I feel like that's really, really important. Um, but I think I wanted to be an independent artist. I wanted to have the creative agency. I wanted to be able to also navigating them being in Joburg is really difficult. Having like online virtual studio sessions is really challenging.
Yeah.
And I really wanted to be in the room, in the studio. I feel a lot more creative that way. I'm very happy, like I said, that I tried it, but I I feel like I'm a driver and I feel like I've still been able to achieve the things I wanted to achieve independently. You just go about things slightly differently, if that makes sense.
With an influx of all this content that we see about how
Mm.
you mentioned they're having to be careful when it comes to
Yes.
being in a record label and so on. Are some of these things factual? Because I know that people can add spice to things. People can exaggerate. Is it is it really a situation where it's like if you're signed, you literally cannot, you have no creative freedom, you can't do what you
Mm.
want? Like what are some of the myths when it comes to, being signed to a label?
I think one of the myths is maybe along the lines of the fact that you sell your soul away. Not every record label is built on that ethos, and not all of them are evil and want to take away your agency or strip you of your identity. That's not true and hasn't been my experience at all. um, it can be, like I said, if you're not reading the contract and you don't have your lawyers backing you, making sure that you also, because if I mean you're studying law, maybe I should come to you next time I'm approached with a contract, because there's this jargon and there's this language that you don't know. It's like me talking about medical stuff to my family. They're like, I have no idea what's happening right now. So if
Mm.
you're not knowledgeable if you're not knowledgeable, you can make poor decisions, right? And if you so I would always advise having someone a lawyer look over the contract. Also, you don't have to go for a 360 contract where they own all the rights to your songs and they own all that um, uh, they own the creative decisions you make. So, and I definitely think it can be an amazing, amazing springboard for your career, especially financially. Going into studio is expensive. Marketing yourself is expensive, and if you're doing it independently, you have to find those funds, create those funds, which is challenging for some people. So I definitely don't think it's good or bad. I feel like that would be a myth. And I also think there's a time and place for things. I was very happy with them at the time that I was signed. I'm very happy being independent now.
That is a very beautiful answer, Gia. Like we're like 11 minutes in, and I'm already just having so much fun, just getting all these insights from you. It's absolutely brilliant. And I think one of the most important things as well when we're mentioning labels, obviously this is a business first and foremost, so it means that there needs to be some sort of return. So
For sure.
one of the questions that I originally did want to ask you is,
Mm,
for you as an artist, what have you found to be the best way to monetize your music as a South African
mm,
artist? Because the dynamics are
mm.
very different from, say, America, where it looks like it might be a bit easier there.
Yeah.
Obviously, I don't know the
Yeah.
the ins and outs, but compared to here, it seems a bit difficult. So, how have you gone about monetizing successfully?
I think the greatest thing I ever started doing was performing live. I think performing live is such an amazing way to get your music out there, to find venues that want to hear original music. That's an amazing way to gain traction and an amazing way for people to hear about you. I think capitalizing on social media. I'm not really a social media person. I use it as a
Yeah.
platform for marketing and communication. It's been incredible to connect me with different musicians. It's the reason I'm having this interview with you, which I'm super grateful for. But I think that's a free tool that is really great to capitalize on. So showcasing yourself there, it has been really great. And then getting onto radio is also an amazing thing, because once you're charting or once people are listening to your music, again, your name is getting out there and you're getting exposure. So that for me, I think has been really great. Also, full transparency, it takes a really long time to
Mm,
get financial returns. You may like starting a business, or like it takes upfront investment, which you kind of only see the rewards of. It could take a year, it could take 2 years. It really depends on you and kind of the market that you are maybe attracting, how big
yeah.
your social media presence is. There are many things that go into those. Whether you're full-time or part-time is also a very, very big deciding factor. I'm not someone who can perform every single day or can, fly to a different country at the drop of a hat. I'm a full-time student. My days are 8 to 5 every single day. So that also limits me I mean, it's yeah, it limits me in some senses. I'm not unhappy about it. It's a decision I made to do both.
Which social media platform would you say has been the best for you as a South African artist to get your message across and get your music discovered?
It's going to be very, very basic, but Instagram, Instagram is doing good things. And I don't know if it was because it was the first social media platform I started on, because I only started social media when I started music. I'd never had social media before. So
Yeah.
wasn't very knowledgeable, and just really never had the desire. But Instagram has been great. I feel like that's been a really good one. It's very commercial. A lot of people use it. Something I've been working on is maybe expanding on my YouTube, maybe changing. And I do have some music videos up there, which is really fun to be able to create kind of visuals for the lyrics in the song that you're creating. I find that to be a really fun process. But yeah, short answer, Instagram. Instagram's great.
Say for example, if you've got a release coming out on, say,
Yes.
Friday or something, right? Whatever you found to be the best kind of content on Instagram to get some sort of kickback for you, to hype that up in a way. Because we have like reels, we have, just plain
Yes.
images, you can go live, etc. What has been the best for you?
I think reels have been really great. When I started doing reels, that gains a lot of traction, and also exposes you to people who aren't just on your following database. I'm talking like I'm a professional social media person. I'm not.
Dude,
I'm
you're on
not.
4K. You're like on 4K plus. Come on.
um, but I think people really like to see the process. They like to see more than just, I mean, images are great. I think also I've started using multiple images because you tell a bit more of a story. And I think I really enjoy the storytelling aspect of it. And then reels have been really fun to take snippets of what I'm doing when I'm in studio. Um, I think talking to people is also really great. People want to know the story behind the songs. They want to know how the writing process is going. Adding humor, adding bits of your personality really makes a big difference.
Absolutely love that. And as I mentioned, you're obviously on about 4,000, almost 5,000, followers on there. Spotify, you're doing really well. I was just checking the stats. It's like over 3K, which is really good. And
Thank you.
obviously, you had a TV appearance on Espresso a couple of years back,
Oh,
which is
yes.
absolutely incredible as well. It's absolutely beautiful. So I would position you as someone who is, making all the right moves, doing what is necessary as an artist to thrive. So, what would you say? What sort of mistakes would you say someone starting out
Mm.
should avoid from your journey and the things that you've achieved so far?
You're asking really good questions. Um, I have to think. I have to
Appreciate you.
think. Um, what mistakes? Oh, you know, it's easy. Firstly, just to say, it's easy to say this is wrong, this is right in hindsight. You do the best with the information you get given in the moment. And I don't want anyone to ever feel bad for making mistakes or for looking back at something and being like, that wasn't the right idea. I think, especially for me, I also just entered and was like, let's do this. Let's go. Let's figure it out. I didn't know what I was doing all the time. I didn't know how things worked. I was just, yeah, just trying to be open, just trying to explore and learn. Um, some mistakes. I think not listening to your intuition, not taking your time to find your voice, to find your tribe, to find support structures that keep you grounded, because it is very easy to get swept up in the buzz and the hype and to lose your own voice in the process, trying to make everyone else happy, trying to make this kind of music because you think it's going to be really popular, or it's really, instead of staying true to yourself. I think that's something that's really, really important in the music industry. To find fulfillment for me has always been, I want to love the music before other people do, because not everyone is going to love your music, and that's all right. But if you love it, it's a fulfilling process intrinsically. And I think that's more important. So I think that would really be the only thing, is allowing other people to push you in directions you don't want to go. But it's also normal. Everybody does it. It's part of the process. But yeah, that's something that I don't want to be doing anymore. And something that I think is very easy to slip into.
In walls, the lyrical content on there is, you putting up the walls. It's sort of like you guarding yourself, from love in a way.
Yes.
Why? I was listening to it and I'm like, what happened? Like, did something happen? Was there someone there that like caused this?
Fair enough. Fair enough. I think also my writing is really, I write when I'm in those contemplative spaces. Not all of my music is a direct projection of my life. It can be
Mm.
experiences, it can be conversations with other people, it can be inspired by poetry. That song in particular really is about that fear of letting go, of letting someone in. It can be really daunting. It wasn't from a negative experience. I think it's more so just uh, from understanding that love is very exposing, and you're really vulnerable, and it can be really, really scary to open yourself up to heartbreak. It takes an incredible amount of bravery, but it's also sometimes easier to build those walls and stay behind them. It's not what I would recommend people do, or what I want to do. But I think I was just in a space of really feeling those emotions and really, yeah, really scared to take those steps.
Firstly, I'm happy that it wasn't from like a personal experience because
Me too.
yeah, I was thinking, man, who's this guy or who's this
No,
person that did this to Gia,
no.
But it's absolutely right. The message is valid. It's valid. It's there. This is why I feel like your music is relatable in that sense. And this is how you were feeling back in obviously 2023. I want us to look at, what's coming up. I've been seeing in our
Mm.
communication, it would seem that there's a little something that might be coming up soon. So tell me a bit more about that there.
So this is kind of where I had to take a little bit of time,
Yeah.
in terms of writing my own music, making my own music. No, I write music pretty much every day, actually. I'm almost always at the piano. But being in studio, taking time, I really was transitioning from last year to this year into this new degree, which is a lot more demanding. And I really wanted to get stuck in and focus there and find my feet. And now I was recently in studio and working on some music, and yeah, I love this song. I love this. I'm not wanting to give too much away, because nothing is finalized yet in terms of plans. It's pretty much finished. It's pretty much finished. I was actually driving home from varsity the other day, and I was playing the song in the radio, on my car, and
Mm.
I wanted to add a harmony. So that's also kind of the thing, is you almost never feel like the song is finished or ready enough. I was like, "Oh, but this sounds really nice." Me sitting in traffic singing while everyone looks at me from their cars like I'm a crazy person. Um, but when inspiration strikes, you kind of take it. So yes, there is a song in the works. It's pretty much finished. I love it very much. It's very, very special to me. Um, Also slightly different, tried something new. I was working on it with Kosha Studios, so that was also super, super fun to be in studio with Dave. To work with DJ Kosha is lovely. I also have a lot of other projects. I'm very keen to be in studio with some other producers and to explore collaborating with some other musicians. Yeah, so lots of exciting things happening in the music world for me.
This is my final question to you. On Sledge Underground, I always just want to have it be a thing where it's about the community, it's about supporting other
Yeah,
artists, and so
yeah.
on. So I want to find out from you, who are some of the most amazing singers in South Africa right now?
This is such a good question. Lee Cole is someone who I absolutely adore. I think his vocals are amazing, and yeah, he's got a beautiful, beautiful voice. I really also am loving Craig Lucas's voice. I don't know if you've heard of him, but he's an amazing South African artist.
Wasn't he on The Voice or
He's
something like that?
Yes, yes, I think he was actually. He's got a beautiful voice and just it's yeah, super emotional. I'm thinking Tyler Page has also got a really great voice. I think she's a great artist as well. I think she's doing really amazing things.
Thank you for joining me on this episode. I really appreciate it. Where can people, get in touch with you if they want to work or anything at all?
Instagram, Facebook, YouTube at Gia Mckay Music. Please connect. I'd love to chat with all your listeners. That would be awesome.
And obviously, for Sledge Underground, all our episodes go up on our website, www.sledgeunderground.com. We have all our merch that is out right now. Check it out on sledgeunderground.store. We've got amazing content and we've got a lot that is coming through. So do stay tuned and continue to support great artists like Gia. And yeah, guys, until next time, it is bye for now.